Hello, today we're going to be checking out A Merchant's Promise. That's available on Steam, released in March 2025. Is a early access game, and currently going for $12.99. Does go on sale, and currently it's a patch 34. I've shown this game on my channel before. It was patch 14 at the time. I think up to patch 16 I released 4 videos. A lot has changed since then. We're now patch 34. So a little context, this game is being made by a solo developer, Game Draft Studios. They work on it full time, and they're working incredibly hard on it. It's kind of like a physics-based merchant game where every item is kind of manipulative, has physical properties, mass, and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, we'll check it out. We're going to start the tutorial just to introduce a little bit. And if you are thinking of picking up this game, I do recommend starting the tutorial. It's kind of got its own little... It's very short, but it walks you through some of the basic controls, like how to turn on your light and that kind of thing. I'm not going to run through the whole thing, but I will just show a few things. So, premise is you pick up stuff and you drop stuff. You have no inventory, so you can't store anything on your person, but you can just basically pick stuff up and move it around. In lieu of having an inventory, we have a cart, and there'll be more than one cart. Currently there's just this one, and you can use a cart to move more than one item at a time. But you can rotate, you can manipulate objects. There's weather. Weather is important. Attached to cart teaches you stuff. Weather damage. Exposed items will be damaged by weather and eventually destroyed. So it's kind of teaching us that if we go out into this rain, our cargo here of flour is going to start to get wet and ultimately start to get damaged and will eventually break. The rain doesn't last too long. And if we look over here, we can see another bag of flour that has already taken damage. You can see those little marks. So I really like this game. It's still in the process of becoming a game, but it's got some really neat physics. The card itself works and rolls pretty good. Probably similar to, car physics in games, I'm not sure, but it does work quite well. Last time I played, stuff in the cart used to become static, but if you watch carefully, you can see that things are, in fact, moving around in there. So there was an update to the physics in the game to make it real time, is what they called it, so that things don't become static, they'll continue to move around. But anyway, the tutorial keeps on going. There's more to see, more to explore, more to be taught. So yeah, do check it out if you are interested in this game. But otherwise, we're going to be checking out the main game here. So let's go do that. The last time I played, we used to start off in the quarry, kind of like the prison area. That's since been changed. We now start in this shipwreck. So as I mentioned, the game's still being developed. Everything is subject to change. Story's still being written. Features are incomplete. All that kind of stuff applies to this game being early access. I will play this as though this is the only video you're watching, so you don't need to go watch the older ones. Powder barrel. So everything in this game that you can interact with will have a prompt. Powder barrels. So we could pick this up. We could take this with us if we wanted to. I don't think we will, but we'll maybe put it on the shore here. We'll get off the boat. Yorlin Harbor. I've been intending to play this game more. I've been playing it a lot on my own and help testing bugs and things to that nature. But I have tried to record other videos on it, and I've just never successfully done so. Hello, beggar. Seems like the crew didn't care too much for a worthless merchant. didn't even bother to get you out of there. Haha. Perhaps they were just in a rush to get out of town before dawn. Crashing a ship with smuggled goods in the night tends to do that. Heard them talking about someone going by merchant. Is that you? No, I go by M. M, is it? Not sure that's true, but it'll do. I wasn't really part of that group. I just needed passage across the Great Swells. I wouldn't claim to be that bunch either. Regardless, welcome to Yorlin Harbor, the port that is the drunken mouth of the land. Do yourself a favor and don't try to steal Yorlin Harbor Ale. They have a checkpoint just for spotting it as you're leaving the harbor. You might want to check with the harbor master too. A hesitant new face in town won't look too good. As that's what a dishonest smuggler would do, eh? Okay, thank you. Don't have anything else to tell you. So, this game doesn't give you much direction on what to do. It's more about kind of discovering it and figuring it out. But we should be able to turn some details up. Turn that down. Exposure's probably pretty good for video recording. Okay. But yes, so he's kind of telling us the goods on our ship are smuggled to powder kegs, so if we tried to sell them, we might get in trouble. That's not actually part of the game yet, but it will be. So if you're new to this channel, I don't do editing currently, which means I'm just recording this all in one go. I do pause the video on occasion if I feel like there's something not worth seeing or to jump to the next part, but it's all done live, so this video will be a bit more on the messy side of things and more on the long side, long format, I guess, versus heavily edited videos that are fairly popular out there. This is not that. Just a fair warning. But what I will show you is kind of the game more as a player playing it. So, but yeah, there's some signs around kind of directing us. If we take direction to what the beggar told us, he said to go find the harbor master. So we could do that. And here we can see the same cart that was in the tutorial area. Some coins on the ground. Some flour, bargain ale. Over here we have some ale barrels. He also told us to be careful not trying to steal these. There's a checkpoint somewhere that we need to go through to pay for them. Now I did record this video already, but I had my graphics setting all messed up, so the quality was really poor. So I decided I didn't want to upload that. Oh yeah, I forgot something. I can't remember if I mentioned this already, but yeah, this game is being developed by a solo developer, works on it full time. They're doing a really great job, in my opinion. They're pretty active with the community too. The reason I am recording this video is because something is about to change in the game. Something that I really like, and I get that it needs to change. And I've had a lot of fun with that mechanics, so I wanted to kind of show it one last time before it kind of goes away. Or show it for the first time on this channel. Because I think what the dev was trying to do with the game is really interesting and unique. Unfortunately, games are games, and sometimes you gotta make compromises to make them playable, and so there is a change about to occur, but we'll discuss that later. If you look at the bottom right-hand side of my screen, there's 115,635 coins. We're gonna get rid of that coin. That is the coin I earned in a previous playthrough of the game. So I made it to about day 102. It's currently day 0. And my goal in that playthrough was to get 100,000 coins. Now the economy in this game is not very well balanced, so it's not that hard to make money. It kind of just, at first it kind of almost increases exponentially. But there's a point where you're limited by how much you can fit in your cart. I also just wanted to show the coins, because they're really cool. And the only reason we have a coin purse to like store them in is kind of because they can be quite performance heavy. But they are really fun, especially when you have a lot of them. And since we're not going to get a lot of them in this playthrough, I figured we'd start off with some wealth, and we'll just donate it here to this beggar. We can have our wealth, and we'll start over with 0 coin, which is what you normally do at the beginning of the game. You have nothing. But yeah, so part of what I like is just how things move in this game. I think the physics has been really well done, and it's gone through many iterations to get to where it is today. But things feel and move fairly realistic. You know, things feel like they have mass. Things feel heavy. There's some friction. And yeah, but these are the coins. So a gold bar is worth 5,000. Gold coin is worth 1,000. Gold bits are worth 500. Silver coin 100. Silver bit 20. Copper coin 5. Copper bit 1. So that's the currency in the game at this time. And the beggar. Enjoy your wealth, sir. I'll leave that with you. Well, this video will be kind of a one-off. It'll probably be quite long. But, yeah, stick around if you like. Or don't. It's up to you. So you mentioned Harbor Master. You also mentioned the ale checkpoint. And then we have ancillary storage, which is where we just came from. So let's go visit the Harbor Master. All newcomers are to check in with the Harbor Master. So, looks to be here. Oh, look at you, a worthless merchant in Yorlin Harbor. Looking for handouts, no doubt. What do you need? There's a ship that tried smuggling goods into the harbor. I don't have time for small talk. I heard that from the townfolk. Sounds like a few got away. That's my voice, apparently. I already sent word to every port and village about the powder kegs they were smuggling in. They will be reported the second they try to sell any of them. I will make an exemplar of any smugglers I find in Yorlin Harbor. Yes, and rightly so. I don't know what my voice will be. Okay. For a worthless merchant like you, no villager's going to buy from you until you're at least a cheap merchant. So don't waste your coins on any trade stalls. How am I supposed to earn coin, then? Go forage and sell what you find. Earn enough to buy a few things from other traders. Transport those goods to another town. People pay more for goods from other areas. Travel is hard. Many prefer to pay coins instead of venturing to another town or village. What about these trade stalls? Locals are sharp and they gossip. They know just who they're dealing with, so don't think you can hide a bad merchant status. Higher merchant status you have, the higher you can get your prices set and still make a trade. How do I get one? Just leave coins on my desk in my office, then go ring the bell at the trade stall. So we're going to take a look at this maybe hopefully towards the end. So it'll take some time for us to get there. Let's see, anything in your harbor you don't care about anymore? Maybe a few things His Majesty isn't concerned himself with, such as an old wagon and some flour sacks. They're yours if they're still there. It was up by the ancillary storage. So there we go. So while there's no guidance in the game, you can get information from NPCs. There's also this dictionary that's been recently added. It's still a work in progress, but you can also kind of find out some information, kind of lore and trade stall. It gives you some information on how to do some things. So, but again, everything's kind of still being made, still being worked on, so it's not all there yet. So he tells us that we can get that cart. He says to start earning money, we can go forage. I'm not going to do that, mainly because I'm aware of stuff. So if you look around, you might find some coins. So we're just going to go ahead and pick up whatever coins we can find. We're under the, what do you call this, pier deck? And coins can fall through. Now these are placed here, but we're going to assume that they fell through. So if we go looking around the area, we might find enough coin to do something with. So that's 18 coins. There might be more that I've missed, but we could look under all the areas and see. Maybe we'll find some more coins. There's another bit. Again, these are only worth 1. You can swim in this game. You used to not be able to. You used to just walk along the bottom, so that's been a new feature. Well, there's a couple down here. Oh, might be hard to get. You can drown. Oh, there's current, which is why it's hard for me to control. Okay, there's 2. Here our heartbeat increasing, meaning we will drown if we stay under. Now I used to know where all the coins were, but things have changed. There used to be one over here. I don't think it's here anymore. Oh, there it is. Alright. And another. Days are short. Well, not too short. About 38 minutes for a day-night cycle. Seasons are short. Every season right now is only 2 days. That's kind of to help simulate traveling. Instead of it taking, a day to get somewhere, you're kind of thinking it takes half a season to get somewhere. And there are regular NPCs that walk around. I don't want to be seen talking to a worthless merchant. Wait, I need money. That's your problem, not mine. Go search and find things, or pick a mushroom. So yeah, if you're feeling lost, you might get some information from just talking to people. He's talking about our status. So we start off as a worthless merchant with -90. This can go all the way to +100. And the kind of part of the premise of the game is status matters. So as we start selling things, our status will improve and people will think better of us. That mechanic's still being developed. There'll be a lot more in the game that influences and affects it, but for now it's relatively simple. And it's harder to lower than it is to increase. Alright, so here we got a big pier. I'm gonna go down and try to get some more coins. See what I can find. Now you can gather coins up, so if you're holding a coin already, and this is stuff the tutorial will teach us, you can pick up other coins. And wow, I'm swimming very slowly. But with one in the hand, if you hold the right click, it gathers up adjacent coins, so I just kind of collected those 2 together. Apparently I didn't get out of the water long enough. You can hear the music speed up, which is kind of cool. So I really like the visuals of the game. I know they're like shared assets, meaning other games use these same assets. You might hear my dog dreaming in the background. We'll just pretend that's atmospheric. Or you might not hear him at all and I sound like a liar. But yeah, there's a lot of subtle detail in the game that I really like, just from sound effects to visuals. I feel like the devs, again, done a really nice job with the game. And I'm having a hard time getting out of the water. We might drown? It's getting dark, which is going to make it harder to find these underwater treasures. Pretty sure there's a bit somewhere that I missed. Let's go get some air. What I do like about the game is it's not fast-paced. It's really about a game to slow down and take your time with. Rushing around. Oh, look, silver bit. That one's worth getting. If I can get it. Got it. And there is a little drop shadow, as you can see, to help tell where you're holding an item. That's new since the last video I made. Yeah, it's hard to get out of the water now. Unless you're on the shore. Which could make sense if you're in the ocean. Waves. How much do we got? We got 53 coin. But let's go to the cart, because there was also some coins on the ground over there. Now they did say we could go out and forage, so maybe we'll do that while it's nighttime. So there we go, we got 66 coin. NPCs are a work in progress. They can be a little buggy at times, but they're doing well. It does get very dark. Well, for the sake of the video, I will boost up the exposure just so you guys can see better. I do like how dark it gets. I feel that's kind of accurate. But yes, they said that we could pick mushrooms. Oh, and there's a couple. So if we look around, and you can pick up mushrooms to say we can pick up coins. So there you go, it says we have 4. So sometimes there's singles, sometimes there's more. And if you turn the grass down as a cheat, they're easier to spot. So if you're having a hard time finding the mushrooms, that is an option in the video settings to turn down the grass density. And that'll make seeing stuff on the ground easier. I'm just going to run around a little bit and see what I can find. So my last video when we collected mushrooms, because that's how we started in that one, you can only pick up one at a time. So I went around with a crate, I picked them up, and I dropped them in a crate. But now there's this new gathering mechanic, which I don't know how I feel about it. Because you can hold a lot of mushrooms. You know, we got 10, but you can hold like 100 or more. There's no limit. So it does feel a little bit overpowered. Because you can kind of leave your cart behind. You don't need to bring a crate. You can just run through the forest at full speed and collect mushrooms. Now there are these other types of mushrooms, which I think are called like toadstools, aren't they? Those you can't pick. The ones on the stumps. It's just the ones on the ground. Oh, and we got autosave. I should turn that off. Alright, 28 mushrooms. That'll probably do. How much we'll get for them. Let's head back. $29. Now, one thing I would like to see is that number 30 going away or being somewhere else. It's kind of distracting having that on the screen. There is a way to toggle some UI elements on and off. This one's not included in that, but maybe it will be one day. Alright. Now I think they take mushrooms. They do, look at that. So they'll give us 2 coins each. Let's just drop all these on the counter. There we go. Some of them look like they took some damage there. So there's 2 ways to trade in this game. You can interact with the contract. Or there's a new way. You can talk to the merchant themselves, and you can discuss trade. And here it'll kind of show us everything that we're trading. And it allows you to select. So let's say we didn't want to sell a certain item, we can just deselect it, and you can see the profit down here at the bottom changing. But we do want to sell them all, so we'll do that. It completes the transaction, and we get some coins. So now we got 126 coins. That bell indicates that it is a new day. It's now morning of the first day, and every time that dawn bell goes off, the shops restock. So if you deplete the shop, or some of the stock didn't, or you're looking for a specific item and it didn't happen to spawn in that day, every day is a new opportunity kind of thing. Let's go get our cart. I'd also like to check out these ale barrels. There's the 33. Okay, so we got 2 barrels for 33. We will take this flour with us. We'll see what this guy will give us for it. I think we'll sell this little bottle here as well. I mean, or I could drink it. I don't think it's worth too much, but we'll see. We'll see what he gives us. But you do get more coin for, like, delivering stuff further away, which the magistrate kind of informed us of. People will pay more for stuff from distant areas. If you think, like, ideas, people don't want to travel themselves, so they'll pay you to do the traveling. So I'm going to take the 2 worst barrels, because we'll still get some profit, and they're cheap. And I think it's about to rain. Is it? Sounds like rain. Doesn't look like rain. Okay, so we're gonna, as we learned in the tutorial, these will get damaged. And you can see them drying out now. So we will leave that there. We'll maybe come grab them in a bit here. The barrels themselves, they don't take damage as far as I know. Or maybe they do, but I don't think it's very quick. Weird, it's almost like winter. Or just missing the particles, I'm not sure. Actually, I might think we're still underwater. Let me just check something. There's a bug with water sometimes where it doesn't quite reset the filters properly. Not sure. Well, I tried fixing it, tried reloading. Like, I think we're seeing the particles of the water, like the drops, but not the actual rain. But anyway, we'll pretend it's a mist. Okay, so we can't obviously sell these because we haven't bought them yet, but we can sell this other thing if I can get it out of the cart. There we go. What will you give me? Well, 9's not bad, actually. So I will sell that. Hello. So items in this game, if I can accomplish something here. If I take this and walk around the corner, I think I can get away with this. Okay, so this item, compared to these items, at the bottom there you see a chest and coins. That lets you know it's a shop item. So what we did is we stole this, basically. So theft is in the game, it's still being worked on, but it is an option. There's also some stuff laying around here that we could potentially steal. Stealing is line of sight, so if somebody sees you doing it, you will get reported. But items have damage, so if I drop this one, you can see it's got some scratches. I drop it some more scratches, drop it again, and eventually it breaks. So you do have to be careful with goods, and different stuff is more or less delicate. So certain glass things will break fairly easily, or other stuff can take a bit of damage. So we have 126 coin, plus we're going to get 9. Maybe I'll just go ahead and sell that. And we have these 2 things we want to buy, which are worth what? 33, so that's 66. Which should be what? We have another 69, is that right? I think. Could have done that wrong. So let's see what we can get. Crates are nice. Yeah, the game's kind of... Forgive me. I do find the game's either too bright or not bright enough sometimes. So we get a large crate for 8 coin. That's pretty good. I mean, large is probably bigger than we need. Medium for 22, though. Yeah, I'd rather... Well, let's just do the large one. So 8. Let's see if I can get 69 worth of something. So that'll be 30 if we put a fish in there. 30. So 46. Oh, 40. Too much. We're only looking for damaged and bruised items. What did I say? 46? Let's see. 66. With 3 coin remaining. If I did that right. So let's go try. And I might be able to use this crate actually to bring the flour over, just to see what it's worth. Yeah, 66. Alright, not enough coin. Okay. So we take out our coin, and we drop it in the coin place. And there we go. So we can just sign the contract to do a simple sale. And this stuff is ours. Now that it's ours, it can take rain damage, so let's close it. I might try to fix those. There is an auto rotate, but I find it only works once for me, and then it stops working. There we go. And I guess we'll just go try to get our flour and see if we can stuff it in the box too. And then yeah, we have 69 coin remaining, which will be enough to grab the barrels. One thing we got to be careful with is if the dawn bell goes again, if you take too long getting out of here, barrels of ale will disappear and teleport. I'm pushing some NPCs around, they're trying to get away. But thanks to these, I can tell the sun's there, so it's about midday. And let's see what we can fit. I think you can fit flour in these. Oh, look at that. One of the bags disappeared because there's a crack here. So rain will actually fall through, you know, gaps and stuff, which I think is awesome. So we lost one of our bags of flour. Oops, not a big deal though. We have some fish. I bet you it's gonna stop raining as soon as I get this in here. It has. Look at that. So the weather is our nemesis. I feel, you know, it's something you have to be careful of. A lot of time, rain in games are annoying and stuff, but in this case, it is actually, you know, part of the game. Like you got to protect your goods from the rain, so they don't get damaged, so you don't lose profits and stuff like that. So now that it's nice and sunny out, I am going to lower this. I just want to check, just so we have a reference. I'm not going to sell anything here, but if we put this on here, it's fancy. Okay, we talk to this guy. Hello, and we can see the flour. He'll give us 13. So the nice thing about this trading window, it gives you a lot more information. So you can see a trader will take a cut. He's taking a huge cut. He's the one who sold these to us, so it's not worth selling stuff back to the same person you bought it from. Things also have seasonal modifications, so certain things sell better depending on the season. So we are spring. Spring's kind of a middle season. Nothing's either at its highest or lowest in spring. Food is at its lowest in the fall. Sells for the most in the winter. Things like supplies, like flour, are kind of the opposite. They're cheapest in the winter, but they sell most for the fall. So if you want to maximize stuff, food you only have to keep for a season to maximize profits. Supplies you have to keep for like 3 seasons, basically. But there we go. Now we just got to get out of here before the sun goes down. So you can push your cart. I tend to pull it because I feel pushing the cart is akin to backing up a vehicle. Great for maneuverability, but hard to go in a straight line. Yeah, if you're feeling lost, look around. There's a lot of signs. Ivernox, Prison Quarry, Yorland Village. Stopped, lost all my momentum. So this I love. Like, we got two barrels of ale, which are quite heavy. So you can feel it the cart is harder to pull because of what we got in here. And these shaders are new. So like the more scuffed up something is, the nastier it looks. So these look like they're in rough shape, and they are. All right, so we got another 66. Can do that. I don't think there's a merchant here that you can talk to. This is the guard. No, he doesn't want to talk to us. But the gate is also a nice little cue that, hey, you gotta stop and pay, just so you don't accidentally leave. But if you do leave with stuff in your cart, it'll just disappear. You have to actually be physically holding things for it to be considered theft. So you can't just put stuff in a box and run out with everything. I don't know if that's good or not. It's probably just to avoid abuse. Maybe it'd be too simple if you could put everything in the crate and just steal it all at once. I don't know. Okay, so we have 3 coin, which is not a lot. This is a guard station for this thing, which is the King's Road, which is a nice road, cobbled road. It's the quickest way to Yorlin Village, but it costs 20 coins to take it, and I don't have 20 coins. So we want to go to Yorlin Village. It's 1.3 kilometers using the KR, the King's Road, or we can go this way for 2.1 kilometers. So what's that? Not quite double, but longer. And a harder road too, so we're gonna go that way. It is indeed getting dark. I will try not to cut too much in this video, just because a lot of this game is atmospheric. I'll probably stop talking sometimes when I'm traveling here, just if you want to take it in or not. I really like it. I don't know. It's not for everybody probably, but this is a game where I do just want to put on some headphones. It's got some good different sliders for the different sound effects. See, like, this is great. This might be annoying, but like, this is a problem, right? I'm trying to move these heavy barrels, and it's too much. Cart won't do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to triage it. Is that what you call it? I don't know. There's a word for it. I don't think that is the word. Stage it. That's what I want to say. So I'm going to bring one barrel up, and then hopefully I have the ability to bring the rest up in the cart. And then we'll pick up this barrel in a second. Make sure it doesn't roll down the hill on us. Reminds me of that problem of, oh, it's starting to rain again. This time we're getting particles. Good. Where you got like, what, a bag of grain, a chicken, and a wolf or something that you gotta transport across the river, but you can only carry 2 items in your boat, and you gotta figure out how to stage it across the river in order so that the chicken doesn't eat the grain and the wolf doesn't eat the chicken. I think there's variations on that problem with different animals and things. But okay, that worked. So these little things is what I love about the game. Also, so I mentioned some things about to change. How these crates work, like currently I just shoved stuff in there. Those items remain dynamic, like they can move around in there. This is changing, unfortunately, as it becomes a bit too taxing with all the physics calculations that have to occur. So I don't know where I'm going. It's hard to see. Now, it's not too big a deal if you're not transporting too much, but once you start transporting a lot of items, it does get harder and start to really overload the CPU, basically. The physics stuff is all handled by the CPU of the game. So while the game isn't graphically intensive, it is very CPU intensive due to all those calculations. So unfortunately, and that's the part of the game I'm going to really miss, is these, like, yeah, that items are still items, even though they're in a crate. It's part of the fun and joy I've gotten out of the game is figuring out how to load crates. I mean, we only have a few items in there, but if you want to fill If you want to efficiently pack a crate, you got to take your time. And I actually really like that part, even though some may find it tedious. That's the part of the game I've really enjoyed. So that's part of why I wanted to make this video, just a tribute to how it used to be, as it's going away. So this is cool. There's a little campsite. See, there's that crack again, so let's avoid the crack. If we had some wood, we could light a fire. We don't. It would be nice if there was wood. There used to be some wood to forage around, but I haven't seen any in recent updates. But yeah, these can also be used for shelter, and maybe eventually we could sleep here and pass the night. But if you are traveling and you're stuck in the rain, you could stop here. There's more than one of these out there. But we're going to keep going. We'll travel through the night. Sounds like the rain's about to stop. Make our way to Yorlin Village. Oh, I do like how dark it gets. I think that makes it interesting. That, like, if you try to go exploring in the dark, you might get lost. So you might want to plan your trips and stuff. Alright, so Yorlin Village that way, Ivernox that way, Prison Quarry. There's a road here. Doesn't have any directions. This leads to an unfinished area. Maybe there should be a sign there, just so people don't go explore it. But you can go explore it. It's just unfinished, so you could go see a town that's being built. We won't do that, but you are welcome to. The dev is working. Ooh, look at that. Is working on that. Broken box. So these are basically free loot. The idea is, you know, another merchant dropped some goods on the side of the road while they're traveling. If you happen to find one, you can collect the items and sell them. So another way of earning some coin if you don't have any. And the game will get to the point where, like, you could, like, lose all your stuff. Like, you could get a setback if you spend all your money on goods and then go try transporting them. Something could happen and you lose all your money, basically, your investment. Right now, again, things are fairly simple. So the risk of that isn't too high at the moment, but... Now the world is big, but not that big. And probably about, I don't know how much is complete right now. I guess it's about 25%, maybe 25 to 30, 35% of the world's built. So there's a lot more to come. There's currently the harbor, a village that we're heading to now. There's a town, Ivernox, and then there's the quarry. But in the end, there'll be, I think, there's... I can't remember, Rafsflem? I don't remember the name. There's a town there. There's another town. I think there's at least 4 other areas that are being worked on. So here we are at the other end of the King's Road. There's another guard station. We will use the King's Road eventually, but not this trip. The first trip, we'll take the side roads. The long way. Look at the bottom left-hand corner, we have our stats. So I'm getting hungry, I'm getting thirsty. The bottom one is our stamina. Its main purpose is for the cart. So if you're sprinting with the cart, your stamina is going to go down. If you're walking with the cart, it'll also go down, but not as quickly. So if you run out of stamina, there's a chance the cart will eventually disconnect from you and could roll down the mountain, or roll away from you. Alright, so let's see here. It's probably almost dawn. It is. Alright, so 198, so there you go. Like, we spent 66 on this or something, right? So we profited nearly 3 times. So that's pretty good. No, exactly 3 times. And then these. Now I could try something silly. You can stack stuff, but things don't glue, so this is unlikely to work. Yeah, it's not even like sitting flat. Why not? Why do you have a flat side or a rounded side? A bit better. So if we're careful, we could carry things like this. Once I move forward, I think I'm going to drop it. Oh, this is where it would be easier with a controller, probably. This game is being designed with controllers in mind. It does work on Steam Deck. $365, pretty good. And $532. All right, so I'm going to talk to the guy just so we can get a more detailed look at things. So yeah, these we paid $33 for. 167, so that's more than a 3-time gain. It's like what? 6 times? You do the math. I'm not doing the math. Okay. Flour is only worth 2. What was it at the other guy? Maybe it would have been better to sell the harbor? I don't know. I don't remember. That little healing tonic we found on the side of the road is only worth 2, but it's something. And then the snapper, you know, I think one was 20. I think this one was 20. The other one was what, like 16 and 19, or I don't remember. So yeah, you can make money pretty quickly. That said, the economy is very much just a placeholder. So all this is going to change. Everything will be rebalanced. The dev is planning to do an update strictly for balancing things. Right now, it's more about just getting things in there and working. I'm tempted to sell this. I could sell this crate. Right? It's empty now. But I could sell it for 44 coin. This is a better crate. It's not as big. And there are other crates, but they're not here today. So that's too bad. They probably were here before the dawn bell went. So I was thinking we could upgrade, but I think we'll just hang on to it. Maybe we'll upgrade at the next town. So what we are going to do is basically take all of this stuff. So what I'm doing here will no longer be how you do it, which I am going to miss, because I really liked this part where you have to stack things in there. You have to do it nicely. You don't have to do it nicely. You can just shove stuff in there if you want, but it is more efficient to do it nicely. So this is going away, and I'm sad to see it go. But I'm also, appreciate what the dev tried to do. And they put a lot of work to try to get this to work. And in the end, unfortunately, for the benefit of, making a game, at the end of the day, if you're making a game, you gotta make a game. So you have to think of the whole picture, get everything working, get everything, So unfortunately, we won't be able to do this anymore. So what instead is going to happen is things are just kind of going to, at least the current prototype hasn't been out yet, but is being worked on. Things are kind of just going to vanish into the box, and the box will will slowly fill up, and each box or crate will hold a certain amount of items, and then it will be full. But you won't visually see what's in there, and you won't be responsible for putting stuff in. But I can just, throw all this in here. And that's what I'm going to do. So you can see I'm being a little less careful now. I was careful at first with the bread and the bottles, but you don't have to be. You can just toss things in. Now, if you do that, there's a risk that things will break. So, but I'm just going to take everything this man has, because we can afford it. If we'd gone here a little earlier, we might have been able to get two loads before the shop reset, but we didn't, so we can't. But yeah, like, if I move this around, those items are still loose in there and they can take damage. So that's cool and all, but again, it takes a lot of calculations and processing power. So eventually the game just can't run. We're gonna buy all this stuff for 162 coin. Close that lid. And let's go. The only thing I didn't take is that flour. Do I want to take the flour? Looks pretty crummy. Oops. Alright, is it bright enough that I don't need my torch? I think so. Alright, and away we go. So this is Eorlund Village, pretty small. Basically got one little market there. There's another shop up the hill here that sells some furniture. Which we could take a peek at. You can see some mushrooms on the ground. It's a good place to grab some mushrooms. Could buy a bed. This one looks disgusting. That one looks nice. Some candles. Well, that's interesting. So they kind of start on, but not on. That's cool. That's different. I don't think the actual flame used to go away. But maybe it did. Shelves. Cooking pot. We're not going to buy anything. Not today, at least. There's a house for sale here that you can buy. I like this house. It's small, cozy. And it's fairly cheap. Only costs 50 coin. But let's get going. So the goal of the video here, we're going to probably finish off by opening up a stall, selling some goods. And we'll visit all the areas, except for the quarry. We won't go to the quarry. Now, if we wanted to, we could gather some mushrooms and take them with us. There's always just a trade-off of, you know, time spent. But let's grab a few. But if we grab every mushroom we see, it could take a while to get anywhere. Alright, 10 will do. Can I open this while I'm holding the stuff? No. Put those on the ground. Yeah, it does look like they can take damage still when you're dropping them. Maybe if we drop them carefully. Or maybe it's just covered in dirt, actually. Yeah, I think it's just dirt. That's the one I was probably holding. And because it was rubbing on the ground, it got dirty. The lid is blocked, so I can't close it. There we go. Oops. So there are plans for different size carts. There's maybe even hope for a horse one day. Yeah, see, I'm not going to stop for every mushroom. And that's part of the problem. Well, this works for this small cart. Once you start scaling it up, it sounds like it's just not feasible to keep things alive all the time as individual items and all the calculations. So, fortunately. But 'tis what it is. Eorlund Village. Prison quarries off in that direction. So there's a desert this way. It's worth exploring. You can find some more of those crates lying around. But there's not much to see out there yet. That is very much kind of bare bones. There may eventually be, I think there's plans for a desert village. So here we got another guard station for the King's Road. We could afford that if we wanted to take it, but we're not going to. We're going to take the side road first. This one costs a little bit more. It costs 60 coins. It is patrolled by guards, so if they see you on there without a permit, they will approach you. It's not, I don't think there's a penalty right now, but eventually. So 3.7 versus 2. So not quite double, but There's a free look that you can use. So like right now I'm still holding forward, but I can look around without changing the direction of the cart. I might pick up some of these mushrooms, because they are different. If we see any more. Okay, and we could go right or left. Looks like right's longer, so let's go left. Oh, great. Oops. There we go. So the cart does have these brakes, which are useful. Keep it from rolling. An ale, probably not worth much. There's a mushroom. I just want to compare. One's probably enough. Hopefully I can still close this. Yeah, I don't know. I really like this part. I'm gonna miss it. It's just a really neat how everything's just there, you know. No inventories, no menus. Just different. But I get it. I get it's gotta go, and I don't want it to go. And I don't think the dev wants it to go either. Like, they really tried to not have to do that. Alright. If we find any more mushrooms... Okay, this is King's Road. We're going to cross it. We should be okay to cross without getting dinged. Yeah, I am hungry, so actually I'm going to look for mushrooms not to sell, but to eat. This is kind of reminiscent of that other spot in the old version. So another change that happened since last recording is the world got bigger and it became open world, where before it was kind of loading individual areas and keeping them all live kind of thing. It was harder to, a lot more rendering, processing needing. Yeah, I didn't say that well. Where now it's kind of, it only renders what's in front of your face. So everything behind us is vanishing. So that allows things to be more open. So that was a big change. With that came a reworking of the world, so the old landscape is gone. Yeah, we can eat a mushroom. That gave us 15 hunger. So if you want to eat for free and drink for free, you want to drink clean sources of water. The water near Yorlin Village is not clean. The brown stuff, that will damage your health. So if you drink from that, you'll have to get some healing tonics. Oh, that was 3. Okay. There we go. Now we're all filled up. But yeah, that's what this place reminds me of. There's a nice little spot by a pond on your way from Yorlin to Ivernox. But the dev is still working on everything. He is a single developer, which means he's the one doing everything. So, you know, you can only do so much at a time. So sometimes he's working on the train, sometimes he's working on... Where am I? I can't tell where I am. This is bringing us back to the King's Road. I think this is where I wanted to go. Is it? Maybe not. I don't usually take these roads, so... Oh yeah, no, this is... I remember where we are. Okay, we can go that way. Or we can go this way. Or go up this way. Might be able to bump up the render distance. I did turn it down because I was noticing the frames were getting a bit low. That's my computer's also recording and encoding. I'm sharing resources. So here, because I'm not carrying those big barrels, It's not too hard to get up this steep hill. Yorlin Harbor Pass. So that'll actually take us back to the harbor. We started in the ship just over there, and you saw this big gate. You might have seen it on the left there as we were walking around. So that's not the one with the ale checkout, but a different one. So that's a quick way to get from the harbor to Ivernox, or quicker than going through Yorlin. I think we'll check that out later. Yeah, there's various weather systems. I don't know how many different ones there are. They kind of cycle. You can get thunder showers or, you know, light rains and fog. I feel like all that really does add to the game. Okay, so the trail's going that way, but I happen to know that I could just cut through the forest here and avoid some of that snaking around business. As well as this gets kind of tilty. This is a dangerous part of the road if you have a lot of crates and lose some cargo. Back last time I played there, patch 16, when things were static, you know, this real-time physics stuff was more of a, you know, dream. Now it's been in the game for quite some time, and it's been really great. You kind of get used to it. You get spoiled by it, and you don't want it to go away. But that's not changing the physics of the cart. It's more so just this will become a singular item. So you can have multiple crates without it messing things up. There will be upgrades to carts. There's just this current one. That's just for testing. It's not too practical, but it does work. I found it useful when you're carrying multiple crates around, as it just helps things stay secured. But we can also buy wheels, and that's because wheels do break down. Thank you. So yeah, all NPCs will give you some clues. But yeah, we can take a wheel off and, you know, we can switch them around. If I take this one off, the cart will tip over. It's fairly, like, simple in terms of... just bring them close. Now, those are very powerful wheels. That's kind of the fun of physics. But yeah, wheels will take damage over time and do need to be replaced. I'm noticing like some light flickering, if you're seeing that. But I was looking out for bugs. Oh, another crate. Since we probably damaged a bunch of the stuff in the crate. This one looks fairly damaged, hard to tell. Actually, no, it doesn't. Looks pretty good. Some scuffs marks, some scratches, but not a lot. I'll take it, hopefully. My beautifully packed box that is no longer beautifully packed. I don't know if I'll be able to close it. No, I'll just leave it open. Unless it rains, then we'll panic. Alright, another crossing. Let's make sure the guard doesn't go after us. Cute. This game is not like a survival crafting game. There won't be any like building. There's minimal crafting for like some food items. Oh. See, like this kind of stuff. You know, that wouldn't happen. Or it won't happen with the new system. Where you're traveling stupidly with an open crate and then things start falling out of it. So, some of this charm that I love will be going away. Okay. But I'm still interested to see where the game goes, because by doing that, it does allow for what's to come. There's always that part of you that wants things to remain the same. But it's also a nice part about being early access games. You know, if you only pick this game up once it's done, you never get to experience these, like, in-between builds where, you know, you get to test a feature that ends up not being part of the main game in the end. So, like, I've spent a lot of hours just loading crates and things and had a lot of fun with it. So, I'm happy to have gotten that opportunity to do that. Whereas if I waited until the game was done, I mean, you know, wouldn't have got to experience that, wouldn't have even known it was a thing. So, silver lining of things, I suppose. Alright, so we're approaching Ivernox. So this is another house for sale. Dawn of day 3. So now we're in summertime. Prices will be... what are the prices going to be? Food will be a little bit cheaper than it was in the spring. And supplies will be a little bit more expensive than they were in the spring. So to sell off our healing tonics, we'll get a little bit more money. So that's not bad, because we did buy them a season ago when they were a bit cheaper overall. And... yeah, now they'll sell for a little bit more. On the other hand, the bread that we're transporting, you know, will have a little less seasonal boost. But currently, the distance bonus kind of overrides that stuff. It's so powerful. The distance. So, we won't lose money is what I'm saying. In fact, I think it's very hard to lose money if you're transporting goods. Oh, right. I already forgot that was open. But I think it is still possible. If you bought at the highest price and then you sold it at the lowest price, that might offset the distance bonus. So we can just do this. It will sell everything in here that this merchant happens to buy. This one only buys bread items, and flour, I think. So if we do that, we'll get 250. Probably should have looked at the more detailed thing just to see. And now all the bread's gone. Now we've got booze and some healing tonics. Trading in ales and drinks. So we got a merchant here. Maybe we'll check him out. Them out. Hello. What do you got? Well, yeah, I mean, minimal for these items since they're so cheap. The seasonal bonus penalty is pretty low anyway. Some damage. I don't remember what we paid for these. I think it was like 2, 3, 4, 5 area. But we'll gain 79. And now we have healing tonics and mushrooms, which I think this one over here buys all those things. Get some epic music playing. Nope, just the healing tonics. Maybe you don't buy mushrooms. Maybe it's the other merchant. So not bad. I don't know which one we found on the side of the road. Distance 44. Doesn't seem to matter. I mean, they're all equivalent. The smalls, right? All the smalls. Oh, wow. That's kind of weird. They kind of rearrange themselves as you click on them. But all the smalls are going for the same amount, or like distance bonus-wise. And all the large are going for the same amount, so the only difference is the damage. So the one we found on the road has the equivalent distance bonus as the one we bought from Yorlin Village, is what I'm trying to say. Well, let's see. Got some mushrooms left. This one might buy mushrooms, but maybe not. Nope. Okay, nobody buys mushrooms. Alright, well, what I'm going to do is drop them on the ground. Because I want to see... Oh, you won't buy this crate. Will anybody? I was hoping I could trade up. No. Alright. Well, that's okay. I do want to buy this one. This is a sealed crate. It helps preserve food. So, we're going to buy this one. There isn't a large one, I don't think, or I don't see it. So we'll see how much of this stuff we can cram in here. So this part, while tedious, again, for me, fun. But, like, if you want to maximize how much stuff you can fit in a crate, you gotta take your time. If you're in a rush, you can just shove it in and hope for the best. And I'm not necessarily packing these the best, but that's part of the fun. Was figuring out how to fit things in there through experimentation and all that kind of stuff. So again, that's just kind of why I wanted to record this video before that changes. So I've tried recording them in the past, and with my health stuff, it's hard to get something to completion. And you second guess whether it's worth uploading or not. Like I'll probably do with this one. Nobody wants to watch this. It's gonna be boring. You're boring. I'm boring. Everyone's boring. Life's boring. Even though you enjoy the boring. Boring is peaceful. Alright, I'll stop yapping. Let's see, we take some cheese too. So our goal is just going to collect an assortment of stuff. There we go. Assuming we can afford it. 227. Now once upon a time, or one day, we might be able to barter. That's where the more advanced menu will be useful. But for our simple sale, we don't need to do that. I will take these mushrooms back with us. And we'll sell them in Yorlin, I suppose. Assuming they fit. Sort yourselves out, please. No. I could always eat a mushroom. There we go. I feel like we're close. There was plans to add like a filter. Like you can kind of see an emblem there to help kind of show you where items were being blocked, but I guess that won't be needed anymore. Okay, so that's all paid for. We can load that into our cart. We could use this crate again for maybe some bread. Large one, should fit a lot. I think we have a lot of time, daylight-wise, to do this. And if we're lucky... No. I was going to say... we could sell enough stuff to become a cheap merchant. We could conclude our mission of opening up a stall before the end of the video. You fit there? You look like you should fit there. Yeah. That's what I thought. So it was. I mean, this was kind of neat because it was like a... it made it like a puzzle game. And, you know, like how to fit your goods. So the new system will have the benefit of being like quicker. So for people that were more interested in just trading... Can I reach that one? It will expedite this process, which I'm sure some people don't like, but for me it was part of the game. Like that, you know, just how do we pack stuff in there? Do you guys fit in here? No. Well, diagonally you would, but that'll be... I'm not gonna put diagonal. Alright, can I fit these along the front? Yes. And I will take the damaged ones, because the merchants don't really care. NPCs do, though, if you're trying to sell them for a profit. Okay, we got some time. Just want to make sure I don't run out of time, because then all your packing just gets wasted when the day resets. Okay, let's see if I can move this over without disrupting things too much. Good. Yeah, the lighting's tricky, I find. Again, either too bright or too dark. So I find the torch is too bright. But maybe if I just up the exposure, that'll do. So, probably more fun to do than watch. So I'm going to load this up. Alright, well that's all that stuff. Yeah, the benefit of the new system is, again, it does take time to load stuff into a box like this. So, you can lose the whole day just doing this. You know, you're at the market loading boxes and all of a sudden it's, you know, nighttime. So it will allow us to load things quicker, which will be maybe a bit more realistic use of time in the game. So part of the scale of time is based off of, like, traveling. Are you low enough? I don't think you are. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work. What about just flat and diagonal? Nope. Alright. I don't want you anyway. Go. 156. Easy. Alright, so next, let's maybe grab some liquor. What can we fit in these? Do you fit in there? I think only like 2 though, right? Yeah. That's not really ideal. Oh, well, hang on. Let's do something. Is that 30? Okay. Okay, and then we could stuff the rest full of scrolls. Keep them safe and dry. These are very delicate. But since they haven't been purchased yet, they can take some abuse, but otherwise you gotta be really careful. Even what I just did there, you know, I'm a bit rough with them. If you're rough with them when you own them, they will break very easily. And some of these will probably break on just moving them. They may not survive the trip. Alright, 88. Okay, close that up. So we're also going to just try to load up our cart here. See how much we can take. I don't think I can... That upgrade might be a mistake. We'll see. We could probably do this. I want to fit one more crate, so we could probably put this one right on top. This is where this might come in handy to help kind of keep it from sliding back as we're moving, as we're pulling. So I think that'll work. Okay, last I want to grab some of these healing tonics. And wow, these crates are in terrible condition. Now we could use this crate. They do fit nicely in there. I will use it actually, just more so to show you. Otherwise, I would probably grab this small box and put them in there instead. But these ones, oops. These crates here, the open crates, are hopefully staying the same, if they can. Okay, 6 will fit nicely in half of that. I guess we'll take some damaged ones too. I just want to get everything on the table before dawn goes, because it is getting dark. And with the rain, it's hard to tell what time of day it is. So I want to make sure I complete my sale. The dev was planning to put some checks in so that like the stuff you've already touched wouldn't disappear, but that hasn't been done quite yet. So we do have to be mindful of the time. Okay, I'm going to leave the small ones because I find they're pretty buggy. They don't play well in open crates. So I'm just going to avoid them. Alright, 254. Alright, and now we load. The crate is coming to life. But I remember playing like Space Engineers had physics, some physics in there, and it was always kind of glitchy. I feel like physics in general in games are just an impossible thing. They'll never be perfect. I don't expect perfection, so I don't mind the glitchiness, to be honest. It is what it is. You know, most of the time it works pretty good, and occasionally things explode. That's fine. You know, the cost of it could be a little off-putting, I suppose, at times. Like Space Engineers, you lose your whole ship that you spent hours building. Here you lose, you know, some goods that you spent a little bit of time collecting. I don't know if I can fit 3 that way. Don't think I can. Will you fit down there? No. Don't think so. No. Okay. Can I do it this way? Okay, stop being possessed. The physics have also gone through different iterations. Feels like a bit of a whack-a-mole scenario where, you know, you try to get something just right. Every time you tweak a value, it affects everything else. I'm not a programmer. I don't know exactly how this is done. I know very little, in fact. But, you know, just physics in general, feel like, you know, if you gotta tweak the value of the forces, the mass and all that, eventually, you know, there's compounding effects down the line, down the chain. So you change one thing and then you gotta change everything. This sounds like a lot of work and really hard to balance, is what I'm trying to say. Tried hard to get just right. So I've been playing this through many patches, and there has been patches, I think, where the physics worked better in some regards, and then, you know, current patch it might work better in a different way. But even now I can feel like my game is a bit sluggy. So some of that's because we got a lot of items. Now we're going to be moving them around. So you might see it in the frame rate of the video, you might not. But off we go. Oops, I think there's a rock. Nope, I missed it. Good. Now before we leave Ivernox, because we won't be coming back, I'll give you a little tour. It's like kind of a foresty mountain town feel to it. Some houses over there, magistrate's places in front of us. We wanted to rent the stall here. But there's also a furniture store. And not much furniture. Sometimes there's beds. Some fancier shelves. Those aren't for sale. Really cheap nightstands. 1 gold. And these nice lanterns. I will buy a nice lantern. Just because they're nice. They're pretty. 27? So if you overpay, like if I put 30 in here instead of 27, it will give us change. And you could leave that there, it'll stay there. Maybe one day it won't, but we'll pretend it's a tip. So this upgrade technically can hold... You could hook this on there. But it doesn't work very well. It was more just a prototype to make sure the upgrade system itself worked. But I found the... kind of swung around a lot. But we'll see. I'm curious to see what upgrades do get added now that that one seems to be working well. Now it's just a matter of time, or a matter of time for new stuff to get added in. But again, there's only one dev and he can only do so much. Okay, so we're going to take the King's Road, which we have just enough money to do. Cost 60. Put that in that little chest. Talk to you. I was wondering what that smell was, but here you stand, filthy merchant. You are indeed fortunate. The King's Road was built for all of those who can pay. Indeed, I can pay. I would like a permit, please, for my stench. That'll be 60 coins. Ah, I see you already have it in the chest. Very well. So very cool. It detects the money. If you didn't put it in beforehand, he would just tell you to put it in. And then once you put the coins in there, you'd get the permit. But we already did that. Indeed. And now if we open this up, we have an Ivernox King's Road permit for 24 hours. Which is about enough time to take it there and back if you're quick enough. So you could use it twice. Alright, dawn is approaching. Turn off our lights. And I'm just going to travel for a bit here. Alright, the road gets a bit tilty here. So I'm concerned that it's only our crate of bread. If it falls off, I don't think it's a big deal. I think our bottles are secure. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Not that it lights the way, it just looks nice. Yeah, like this. To me is beautiful. Nice sunrise. Nice visuals. There are different seasonal elements. As you can see, there's like these leaves on the ground. So now we're in the fall. You probably won't get to see winter, unfortunately, but winter does happen and snow occurs, snow on the ground. Color of the leaves change. Now the dev is planning to change the length of time on days. I don't know where they're thinking of settling it. I think they're thinking 3 instead of 2. I would like to see longer, personally. All the way up to maybe even 7. As I do find, you know, sometimes it is the thing that I do rush is because of seasons. You only, like, if you want to sell something in the right season and not miss it, you know, you gotta really kind of rush sometimes to do that. Where it would be nice to have more time to stage and prepare, in my opinion. Okay, yeah, this is a tricky part of the road, so I'm just gonna go straight. Nope, we lost it anyway. I was hoping to skip this this hilly part and avoid that. So this is what I mean. Like in a previous patch, the friction was a little bit stronger, and boxes wouldn't slide so easily off of one another. But again, trade-off. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Yeah, see? Previously, I would have been able to do that, but not in this one. Oh, and now the box is all dirty. I think that's the last little hill, so we should be fine from here on. But I do like that. Let me be clear. I like that things fall off the cart. To me, that's part of the fun and kind of immersion and realism. You got to be careful. You can't be too ambitious, too greedy. And I just lowered the brightness. So I'm taking this path because I want to take the harbor path, or pass, harbor pass. I'm trying to be careful not to lose this cargo again. This is where it might be better to push, so we could see it better. Uh-oh. It costs 50 coin to open the gate. We have 38 coin. So, see, which one of these is really damaged? This one. Alright, let's see. I think it's only 25 to go through the side gate. I forgot to plan ahead. Hello. Villagers, no carts. Yes, please. How much? Glad to hear it. 20. Oh, perfect. Alright. Good day, filthy merchant. Hopefully this will give me enough that I can open the gate, grab the cart, and bring it back. I will billy goat my way across. How much for this, please? 70. Perfect. I will take it. What are we? We're filthy. Minus 65. So before we can open a stall, we have to get that value to minus 50 or higher. Okay, now I don't know if this will work. I don't think I can go through the gate again or I'll be fined. And I'm hoping I can do this. I don't know if I can. Thank you. Okay. I should have put the cart closer. I think we got time. Yeah, lots of time. So our goal, we're going to sell off some of our cargo. Some of our cargo at the merchant there until we can get our status such that we can open the stall. And I think we got some good items that we can sell, so it should work out. Watch those bumps in the road. Oh, I think something you gotta see. So, physics in the game, again, things behave quite well. Like, things will float, some things sink. You know, but you can roll things around. Just quite enjoyable and just very well done. Yeah, it's still rolling away. And here we are, back where we started. Hour and a half later. I've done a loop of the area. Alright, so one thing, I do want to buy that. And let's see here. Which way is up? I can't tell. It's too dirty. But we can clean it. So if you put dirty items... Oh, there's the top. Put dirty items into the water. It'll clean it. Doesn't take away the... Whoa! That's cool. I think it's interacting with all the items in the crate as well. So it's creating like a multitude of splashes instead of just one splash. Fun with physics. Things don't take damage in water. Maybe they will eventually though. Meaning like even though stuff takes damage when it gets rained on. Things don't take damage by being submerged. So there's an example of just, you know, these were in there doing their own thing, but eventually enough force built up that they exploded out. And again, I don't know, there's been so many little iteration changes. I do feel like there was a time when they behaved a bit better, but again, varies. Mileage varies. I'll clean that up in a minute. Okay. What I want to get... So depending on the level of item, so if you look these like circles, yellow circles, we'll get more if we sell higher tier stuff. If I could get anything out of there. So like these baguettes, which I'm not able to pull out. So the new system, you know, that'll be better for that kind of stuff. Oh, it threw some bottles on the table. No, I don't want to sell those to you. I will sell the damaged ones, actually. The heavily damaged ones will sell. Because those will be less likely to be purchased by NPCs anyway. Hi there. Do you have any of my goods? Did any of them go in the water? How far did they go flying? Doesn't look like it. I do love that little sound effect. Water slowing down. There's a lot of nice little details like that. Funny. Okay. I thought we had some level 4 items in here. I think they're at the bottom, unfortunately. But these are heavily damaged, so we could get rid of that. Maybe we'll save the nice baguette. Just get rid of damaged stuff. And I forget. I think 3s will increase it by 2. Level 1. Oh, we only have 3s, so that's good. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Maybe we could test this theory. See if that goes to, what, 53? It did. Oh, and it put the money over there. Okay. I'll take that off. So we don't want to sell that. So in which case we only need to sell 2 more level 3 items. That's a level 2, but it's really damaged. Yeah, I think those half-loaves were 4, weren't they? No, they're 3 as well. Take that too. I think I'll offload it anyway, just because it is damaged. Come on. We can do it. Got it. Okay. There was probably some damaged meat we could sell as well. There we go. We are now a cheap merchant. Let me... Well, we're just gonna set this up at the booth anyway. So let's just load it into the crate. That'll be easier, I think. Could maybe throw some in there. Oh yeah, so that's kind of a bug, I think. It's putting our change in this change dish instead of this one. It's kind of funny. Or not intended, but a side effect of the feature. This coin dish is where NPCs will put coin for our stall. So that's kind of what it's used for and why I bought it. So it is an interesting game. Like, I know a lot from watching the developer develop it, but if you weren't, it would be hard to, you know what does what. So it might be a matter of experimentation. But things also tend to do realistic things, or behave as you would suspect, I guess. I'm just going to sell that one because it's damaged. Yep, put the coins in there again. I think if we got far enough away, we'd be okay. But... Okay. So let's load the rest. And as we were told at the beginning of the game, if we want to rent a stall, we have to put coins on the desk. It's 20 per day. I'm going to put 2. 2 silver bits for 40, in case we want to rent the stall twice. The moon is just rising. One thing I'd love to see in a game, even though I know it's maybe not really necessary, is like proper moon phasing. Instead of like the moon being the nighttime sun and always at the opposite end of the sun. It would be cool to have a game do more realistic celestial stuff. But really, not necessary. Okay, so we're gonna try to do this in a couple trips. I don't think I could take everything at once, so probably not worth trying. We gotta go up these stairs. This is where I mean, like, I feel like the dev has done something really amazing with physics. Like the fact that I can do this, you know, you could you could do a lot of fun. You want to get all fancy, but like we can rotate this around. You know, I could tilt it back and forth. He did a really great job with stabilizing this stuff. Again, I think friction used to be a bit better, so stuff wouldn't slide off so easily, but really cool. Just really well done. I don't think that should be taken for granted. I think that's, a really amazing accomplishment. I feel like I'm not a expert of gaming or anything like that. I don't play that many games. But some physics in games are very, like, things feel like cardboard. They feel like they have no mass. They're very springy and bouncy. Where this feels, you know, everything feels pretty realistic. We could sell this, I think. I don't really want to, but we will. Actually, at the end of this, so we're going to end here pretty quick after we open up the stall and show that off. But then I'm going to jump into an old world, the one I started with, the 102 or 102 days. I'll just give you a little look at the housing stuff, because I have some furniture in that one. They're not heavily furnished. There's something. So, you see that number popping up? So this is our little stall we can rent. The number is telling you what someone might buy that for. The way the trade stall works, it'll let you know here that it's available. It shows you how many coins we put on the desk. And all we have to do is ring this bell to open it. But before I do that, I'm going to load some stuff onto the table to sell. Now some of the other trade stalls, like Yorlin Village, has a little bit more area for trading. And Ivernox has quite a lot of area for trading. I didn't really show that when I was there. But Ivernox, you can set up quite a lot of stuff. Here, we're limited to this table. And you don't have to set things up nicely. Oops. You could just throw it on the table. But, again, it can be part of the fun of the game if you enjoy this kind of thing. It can be very satisfying. All the little clinks I really like. Sound effects. So, is that it? Nope. And stuff is pretty good. Like if I drop it from here, you know, it's not going to take damage. It's only really if you drop it from greater heights. So there is some leniency there. Not every rattle will damage your goods. Ooh, delicious. Sure, we'll try to sell some mushrooms. Why not? Except maybe the poo one. I'll eat the poo one. Yum. And maybe I'll eat that too. Alright, this stuff we'll leave for the dogs. There isn't actually dogs, but we'll pretend. Oh yeah, the scrolls. Did they all survive? They did. As long as I don't break them now. Alright, we gotta be a bit strategic. There isn't a lot of room on this table. I don't know if they will buy this one, so I'm just gonna throw it away there and let it break. Maybe this one too. We could sell it. I just too lazy to go do that. And we're about to end. If I was carrying on, I would just go sell those damaged goods to the merchant instead. So, I do really love the trader or the shaders that the dev has added in. Before it was just these little yellow dots used to change color depending on the damage. But now it's represented by a shader, and I think looks really cool. It works well, so you can just visually look at something. So I can turn these off so that you don't see them. A bit more immersive that way. It's usually how I play. I usually just turn it on when I'm in the shops so I can see the pricing. But otherwise, it can be nice not to have them on. So again, maybe I'll throw everything in there that's damaged. We do want that. This is where they'll put the coins. We could just put that in there, I think. So it does take some time. It'll probably be morning by the time I get this set up. Trying to get it to like to flip on its side. So we are fall, which does mean... What does that mean? Food is at its cheapest. So this isn't the best time to be selling. But if we tried to keep it, it would probably just rot, so... Okay, the rest we'll just leave. Maybe we'll throw some more on the table as people buy stuff. But I think we are ready to open the stall. So you just grab that, ring the bell until that candle lights. So this is the abacus. You use this to set some prices. So we got food, green, drink, blue, healing is the purple, and supplies is the orangey ones. Yeah, if I turn on the light, it'll just be blinding. Since we are a cheap merchant, we probably can't put our prices too high. But if you change them, you will see. So those are representing the mushrooms. So we can't really lower them below 1. Some of that meat is changing, the 2-level meats. So we are going to lower, I'm just going to lower them all to about 2. Just to increase the odds of selling stuff. Our first customer! Aww. He doesn't want to buy from us. But not due to our pricing. Just due to our status. He's just that judgmental of a human being. Quality healing, you're welcome. You don't care how worthless I am. Or cheap. You tried to buy 2 things and you told me I'm cheap both times. But yeah, so this is the stall. This is another way of selling stuff. You will earn more money doing it this way. If you remember, the merchants take a cut. So. But it takes longer, obviously, to set this up. So it's always trade-offs. But it's kind of fun. And who knows how it will change in the future. But as you can see, every time they make a purchase, coins are being put into there. And we shall collect our fortune. But of course, you could open the stall a little early and just, you know, as customers are coming, you could set up the stall. Instead of setting up the stall first. That way you have something to do. Could be interesting if we actually had to, like, interact with them, but at the same time, I'm kind of happy we don't. Then why did you come over here? I'm not forcing you. I'm gonna drink this because I'm thirsty. Okay. Come on, come all to the harbor. A traveling merchant is in town. Look at my goods. He's come from Ivernox. Have you ever been there? Probably not. Calling me cheap. You're too cheap to travel. Yeah, what do you think of that? I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to offend you. Come back. 106 coins. Now, if I had a clue, I would know how much I bought everything for, but I don't have a clue. Maybe one day we'll get a ledger of some kind to keep track of our sales and stuff. Otherwise, you have to do it manually. But you absolutely could. Write down all these, you know, got this many of this many of that. Know your prices, and then but when you close the stall, you know what you sold. You could have a lot of fun with it. Get immersed with it as much as you like. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do better. If you wait, I'll become less cheap. So, as we're selling stuff, our status will improve. And if you're a king's merchant, everybody loves you. kind of fun, or it's an interesting mechanic of the game, kind of that, you know, class matters. People will judge you and treat you differently depending on, you know, how you are perceived, and that'll play a bigger role in the game, it sounds like. So, yeah. Now, if I was doing fancy editing, I'd do a time-lapse right now, but since I'm not, I don't know how much of this you want to watch. This has been, yeah, Merchant's Promise. I really like it, just even the art style, these little models, I don't know. Looks a bit like Play-Doh, a bit, but, you know, decent as well. You know, I think overall it's coming along really well. And I'm happy to have stumbled upon it. I've put hundreds of hours into just messing around, playing around. A lot of it's trying to help test stuff, make sure, find bugs and all that, which can hopefully be helpful, but also probably slow down development. But hopefully for the best in the end. There we go. We've sold most of our tonics. So the NPCs do have needs. I think right now the devs just trying to get things like working, so like that they'll buy stuff from us, so it feels good for us. But things will probably get more complex where, you know, NPCs might, you know, have a need for healing tonics, have a need for food, and if they don't have a need for it, they won't buy anything from you. I think that would be kind of cool. You know, there's more kind of supply and demand elements maybe in the game. And you can't just, you know, buy whatever you want and put whatever you want on the table. You have to actually factor that stuff in, like how many people actually live here. You know, sure, I've got all this steak, but does that mean I'm going to be able to sell it all? So that could be interesting if that becomes a mechanic in the game. Even if you're selling it to the other merchant, maybe he'll be like, I don't want any more of that. Sorry. I'm not going to buy all of that goods you bought. You can see this stuff is starting to mold. The little specks. So the food is getting worse. I don't know if we can see any more mold. Yeah, I think you can see some on the bread too. I think that one's starting to mold. But that's been a recent addition. That might, again, all this stuff is subject to change and balancing, you know, how quickly stuff molds and all that. Look at that, we got like a queue. A queue of people telling us they don't want to buy from us. I mean, I could lower my prices, but truthfully, they're not buying because I'm a cheap merchant. They're not buying because of my prices. They're not buying because of my standards. So this does seem to be working. Occasionally the stall can break in this version. If it does, typically ringing the bell, turning off the stall, ringing the bell again to turn it back on does fix it, usually resets the NPCs. Otherwise in this game, if you save the game and reload the game, that usually fixes like 99% of bugs and problems that exist. We could check here how much we've earned. Won't be as much as that's laying there in the sand over there by the beggar. But looks like 900. Bring me to 1,000 now? I don't know. But yeah, this thing's a bit bugged at the moment. The way the coins spawn in, but the dev's aware of it. I don't think... No, they won't buy it. Okay, so this one doesn't have stability, so it's trying to tip over. Yes, the coins kind of spawn in the thing. And clip through. Thank you! See, like that stuff. I love that stuff. You know, the fact that you can lose coins. That's really cool, and they'll fall through the cracks. I mean, we can go down there and pick them up. Not a big deal. But it's all these little things that I don't know. The child in me really loves this game. I didn't have this kind of stuff when I was young. So, but I probably would have really enjoyed it. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into my long world, the 102 day. Finish this off. All right, let's see where I'm at. Now, important to recognize, this game doesn't have multiple saves. I've manually backed up my save. So you can't kind of do what I'm doing natively. You have to kind of go through the game files and do it. Okay. Oh, you get to see winter. Yay! So here we are in Ivernox again. This is part of why I love winter. The crunching beneath our feet. Brighten it up a little. Before you say trees don't turn color in the winter, the dev knows. Just thought it would be fun. And there are some. I think larches are some of the ones that do. Oh, and I got a bed outside, as you do. But here we go. So this is the Ivernox home that you can buy. It's a bit of a mess. That wasn't me. There was an update with the dev testing some stuff. And their items remained in the game. So all these bottles everywhere. That was the developer. I didn't do that. But anyway, yeah, here's my little shack in Ivernox. I've decorated this house multiple times. This isn't probably the most extravagant one I've done, but it's the latest. So you can buy furniture, you can set it up. It can be quite fun just to, put some stuff on display. If you like to collect things, you could try to collect one of everything. Of course, food will rot, so you can't really store food long term. This is my favorite item in the game. It's just a green bottle of liquor, but I don't know. Green's my favorite color, and for some reason I really like that one. Again, it's hard to get the lighting in this game to be just so. Maybe if I turn up the brightness some more. Yeah, hard to say. It's very contrasty, which again, I do like it. It just does make it kind of hard to see. So yeah, this is the Ivernox home. But if we travel, we could make our way back to Yorlin Village. Oh no, they lost their sound effect. These used to have a really great sound effect. It must have just been mislabeled or something. I like to collect rocks, because I can. So here's more a little modest home in Yorlin Village. I used to have a bunch of bottles here. There were some bugs in this one. The shelves kind of rotted away and everything fell to the ground. So, again, not my most decorated houses, but there are some things on the wall. These eggs were from an Easter hunt. They're not in the game anymore. And yeah, you can make soup and stuff in your home, which is great for like free food, basically. Instead of picking mushrooms, you can just eat some soup. As you can see, I was in the process of selling some healing tonics when I stopped playing in this world. I will take this, please. Well, this has been a look at Merchant's Promise. And I previewed kind of what's available in the game so far. So you can, I mean, this probably took me about 3 hours of playing to record this 2-hour video. So you can get a sampling of everything within a few hours of gameplay. But you can also get a lot more. I mean, you can keep going, trading, bringing stuff back, furnish your homes and stuff. But again, the game is still a work in progress, still under development. So who knows what's to come. Soup doesn't go bad, by the way. You can store soup forever. Well, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. And we shall miss the loading of crates. But thank you for having it in the game to test out and play around with. Hopefully we get the sound effects back for these rocks, because they were the only reason I collected them, because they make nice little clunk soundses. Soundses? That's right. Soundses. All right, well, bye-bye.